Ooh, ooh, Bondo,
やるな。おかげですんなり任務完了だ。
Bondo.
たさね世界は隠したそれぞれの正義は
Hi everyone, I'm going to react to Spy Family Season 2, Episode 2, Bond's Strategy to Stay Alive, Damian's Field Research Trip. And last episode, Yor got shot in the butt. She couldn't sit, and then Lloyd thought she was just like being angry with him or something. They decided to go on a date. She couldn't sit throughout the date until one of the group that she went after, the guy was like trying to kill her. He poisoned her, but then that poison turned out to be sort of like a remedy. So she was able to at least enjoy the restaurant date and all of that, the dinner. And yeah, you had Anya just following them around, noticing the guy trying to kill the mom, and then she went after this guy. It was so funny. Oh my god, she blew him up, man. Oh my goodness. So that's what happened last episode. And before we get into this one, if you guys have a reaction, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and please consider supporting my Patreon at patreon.com/feeling. And now let's start this episode. And here we go.
たさね世界は隠したそれぞれの正義は
You know, usually I don't like looking at the preview for the next episode, but I felt like doing that this particular episode because I wanted to see if we were gonna be like doing side quests, you know, like I mentioned in last episode, and I mentioned in the previous season that I want to see sort of like the story progress a little bit more, because it feels like these episodes are fillers. That's what it feels like. So I want the real stuff. So I'm like, I started seeing the outro. Why do I keep hitting the outro? I started seeing the preview, and then I paused, but then it looked interesting, so I'm like, okay, let me just check and see, you know, and what the show looks like, you know, like a real mission or whatever. I just don't know if it's, and then it's Yuri as well, so I don't know if it has something to do with Desmond or anything, but it's a real mission, you know. He looks serious right there, so I'm like, I'm looking forward to that. The first part of this episode with Bond, it was okay, you know. I was slightly confused about what was a premonition and what wasn't, you know, when he was there, and just started thinking stuff like the guy, the doctor in the lab that ran the experiments on him, that showed up and shot him. Was that just his imagination or what? And then after he saw that, he was like gonna go and say goodbye to Anya, but Anya didn't want, like, I'm busy, I can't play right now. And then he went to Yor. Yor was like, oh, I forgot to buy dog food for you, so I'm just gonna cook you something. And then he had a premonition about eating that dog food and dying. So his solution is that, you know, if Lloyd comes home early, then he can cook and he won't die. So he went out there and went on the whole trip, encountering people, kids, and other stuff. And then he wound up where Lloyd was. Lloyd was in the middle of a mission at a Bond Industries, I think that's what they call it. And he's there to steal this truth serum that they were developing. And Lloyd was surprised to see Bond there. But then he's like, oh, this Bond Industries has something to do with the Project Apple, you know, that made him the way he is, that ran experiments on him and whatnot. So he's like, oh, so did you come here to get revenge on them, you know? And then he's like, okay, let's go, because Bond was also like directing him through places where there weren't a lot of guards or something or other. So he was helping him. So he's like, oh, okay, with you by my side, I can finish this mission pretty quickly. And then they got into the room where the drug was, but there was a whole bunch of safes there, so he didn't know in which one the truth serum was. And then you had Bond have a premonition about the people that worked there coming in earlier than expected. And he was trying to warn Lloyd about that. And then the people came, they opened the door, there was nothing there, but that there was a note on there that said that he stole the T-Bandit. He named himself T-Bandit, that he stole the truth serum. They gave him a name, but I don't quite remember what it was called. And the people thought, okay, what? They stole it? Let me check if it's still there. They opened the cabinet, wherever, the safe where it was. Lloyd didn't know exactly where it was. So the fact that he wrote that there and then he spoke to these people and then they opened the door basically telling them, okay, this is where it is. And they just knocked them out. And even Bone did some kind of crazy action stuff. I'm like, whoop, okay. I like that part of it. And so they got the serum. And then they went home early, and Bond is not gonna die. So that's that part of the episode. The second part I love. I absolutely love the second part of this episode. Even though it was still filler, I really loved it because Damian is under this kind of pressure to study like all the time, to get stellas and impress his father so that his father can praise him. He's doing all of these things so that his father can continue to praise him, so he's not sleeping. And because of that, he woke up late for a roll call, and now he was his punishment was to help the dorm mother with her chores and whatnot. And his friends, I know one of them is Emil. Let me see. If I'm not mistaken, I feel like Ewan is the one that his hair is sort of like curved somewhere, and Emil is the one that eats snacks. I don't know, I might be wrong, but either way, Emil and Ewan, they were supposed to go on this go see a movie with this teacher and whatnot, but they didn't want to leave Damian by himself, so they were they were causing they broke the rules basically right in front of Henderson. Henderson knew what they were doing, because he was saying them. He's like, these people just want to go and be with Damian and help him and whatnot. So he's like, because you were doing this, you guys go and help the dorm mother. And they were so excited. Thank you very much. Then they went there, and Damian was so surprised to see them. And I just love their friendship. Like, I really do. The way, I don't know, they look up to Damian and they want to support him any way that they can and all of that. I don't know. It's so sweet. It's really sweet. And then they helped them do the chores and whatnot. And then you had one of the teacher, whoever, the guy that took them on the field trip. I think he was talking about going on a picnic or something. And Damian's like, no, I have to study or something or other like that. And Henderson just basically, because they were still having fun, he used that excuse to make them go with this teacher that took them on this field trip. And they had so much fun. So much fun. I love it. And while he was having fun, he was just thinking to himself that, why am I here having fun? I should be out there studying. I'm like, boy, just like studying all the time and no break to have fun, or it's not good for you. Like taking breaks to recharge yourself, to feel relaxed and all that. Like they said, space out, that there was some research that says that spacing out sometimes helps with studies and whatnot. It does. So when he was saying all those things, I'm like, boy. And then that's when the professor, this teacher, either way, he's a teacher, right? I think he's a teacher. Told him about the spacing out thing. And then they went I think they said they were going home or something. Or they were going to go to the lake. Either way, they went to this beautiful lake, and the stars were like so. This was a beautiful part of the episode to me, like really beautiful. I really loved it. And after they were done, the teacher was like, "Okay, now you guys need to write a report." He just wrote this little thing. We did a whole lot of stuff, and then that's it. And then he was tired, man. He was tired. All of them were tired, and I'm just glad that he got some sleep, because when they started his part of the episode, he had dark circles under his eyes, so you knew he wasn't sleeping. You knew he was tired. I didn't like that. Like, I don't like it when rich people or those kind of strict fathers put this kind of pressure on their children, especially when the oldest one is basically like a top scholar with all these stellas and stuff. Now the younger one tries to follow in the big brother footsteps, and then they put all this kind of pressure on them, and it doesn't really leave time for them to be kids. Like, I really hate that. So I'm glad this episode that he was just able to let loose and have fun. So thank you guys for watching, and if you like this reaction, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and if you want to see my reaction to the next episode, you can do so by checking out my Patreon at patreon.com/feelingme, and you can also see the full life of this reaction as well. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. No more arigato.